All right, I think we're live. Let's just wait to get confirmation. I know that there's a lot of technology that happens here. We're in the Urban Monk studio. Looks like we're live. Excellent. Welcome to the webinar. We're a minute early, so I won't start, just to make sure everyone who is kind of clicking out to get in here at 1 o'clock is there. I understand it's a work day for most in the United States, and I appreciate you being here. It's, you know, some of these, the thing with timing is it's never good. It's never going to be good. It's always bad for somebody. And so what we do is these kind of like midday webinars, and if you make it, then that's wonderful, and we get live questions, and then we, we'll record it, but then you miss the live aspect. So I am excited that you're here live. It's a really cool feeling, because then what we get to do is interact and we go back and forth. Sean is going to be moderating questions in the chat room, and I'm here to answer a lot. One of the things I really want to talk about is, look, we're just coming off this film launch. The Prosperity film has been seen about 300,000 times already in the first, two and a half, 3 weeks that it's been out, and it's just about to get going. Like, we're just about to scale it and get it out to the world at large, keeping it for free, not giving it to distributors like we did Vitality and Origins, and we're about to get it out there. And one of the things that really kind of drew me to this work was really looking at the gatekeeper model, and where a lot of the people, the well-intentioned people in our world, get stuck, and where they really feel like they want to make a difference, right? It's like, if you feel like you're in a world where things aren't going exactly the right way, and if you feel like you want to do some good in the world, but you're kind of spinning your wheels, not sure where you can make a difference, if you feel like you're small and you are trying to find your way and find a way to make a difference, then you're in the right place. I'm going to get into my history, how we ended up in the world that we're in here. But look, I didn't start as a media person. I don't consider myself a media person now. It's just what I do to share my message. And my message is one of transformation. You know, I have my own history. I was a senior student under a Kung Fu master. I was an abbot under that lineage, so we do a lot of Kung Fu and Tai Chi, and traveled through Asia, India, Nepal, and all these wonderful places, and came back to become a doctor of Oriental medicine in Los Angeles, California, of all places. And was trying to help people, right? Really trying to help people. And I realized that the world was breaking faster than I can fix it. I could see 30, 40, 50 patients a day, and that's, it's a pretty busy day, right? And I was the MASH unit, if you will, and the bodies keep coming into the MASH unit, but the war goes on. And I realized that the only way I could actually fix the problems that I had taken vows to fix, is to heal humanity, heal human suffering, was to swim upstream. And so that got me to have to play a bigger game. That got me to kind of step out of this insulated small universe that I was in, just working my tail off and just getting frustrated at the state of the world every day. So if you feel that way, if you feel like you show up every day, you fight the good fight, and then you check the news and it looks like, the good guys are losing, again, you're in the right place. It's a really challenging time to be alive, but it's also one of the most exhilarating and interesting times to be alive. And we have a lot of power in our hands. That was the real kind of impetus, if you will, of the Prosperity film, was to take this thing called, all of human problems, and put it into this framework to be like, look, here's a few things you can do right now to really make a big difference. So these levers that will really, swing big doors, right? And so these hinges, if you will, that'll swing big doors, are in what we do and how we act and how we behave in that film, really, as, I hate the word, but consumers, like, people who spend money, we're consumers of banking, right? So where we leave our money at night, where we invest our money, and all these different things that we kind of picked apart in the film, and use that as kind of the springboard into, this roadmap series and like this ongoing curriculum and education that we are sharing with the world. It's just the opening of a dialogue. And so what I want to do today is kind of show you how we have been learning to do our messaging, and how you can step in to really understand that you must be online, especially now. You must be online because the entire world is coming online. And I'll get into some of those statistics later, but the gig is up. It's not like, hey, there's this thing called the internet. It's this passing thing. It's a fad, and that'll go away. That kind of ended at the turn of the 90s. Almost everything now is automated. There's an internet of machines, internet of people. There's all kinds of things that are kind of building and layering on top of each other to force us to look at this online universe and be like, okay, how does this impact me? How does this affect me? Where do I live in this ecosystem? And how is my message getting out there in this sea of messages? And how am I not getting lost? And that's really the big deal, right? Is you look at the sea of bad news, you look at the sea of just kind of yucky consumer capitalism, which is just the consumption of goods and services that aren't necessarily making the world a better place, right? Just buying stuff that ends up in landfills, that ends up in the ocean, that ends up, choking out the planet and not really feeding fair trade and some of the things that, would be kind of in line with possibly your values. And so then you look at, okay, where am I in that ecosystem? And then what do I need to do to boost my signal strength? So why we're here is to help you understand how to boost your signal strength and become a brighter light in this realm. The internet allows you to do so. I had no online following in 2012. I was a small doc in a small box. And then I decided to take a step out of that. And now fast forward to today, I have an enormous online following, and we have a lot of imprint, and we have a lot of messaging that can get out to millions of people because of some of the steps that I'm going to show you how to take. And I need you to take these steps, right? Because I can't do this alone. Well.org is a relatively small organization. Our charter, we are a for-benefit company. Our charter is to help the helpers and enable you to then take your message and get it out there and help get these messages out, right? So if you have some sort of life-affirming play, if you're trying to make the world a better place, if you are living in an ecosystem where you are trying to bring consciousness, you're trying to bring health, you're trying to bring balance and peace, if you will, to the world that you live in, it's not easy getting your message out there. And so part of our charter is to help you do so, and that's why also we're here today. Some of the, and by the way, just to be clear, we have the chat thread. Sean is going to be moderating that. If anything, kind of like if I just like chunked something like a moron and like I missed something big, he's going to call on me and I'll just address it right there. But I'm going to kind of have him accumulate the questions, and we're going to get into proper Q&A right at the end of this. And we'll 60 minutes, right? We will get into questions, and I will stay as long as you need me to stay to answer all your questions, that I promise you. So it's actually cooling down in Southern California, by the way, which is nice. We've had like this heat spell that's been obnoxious, so we're actually in nice weather for a change. So some of the advances that I want to cover, and if you don't understand this stuff, you're toast. It's really challenging. There's recognition software right now that can tell a marketer where your eyeballs are on a given screen and track it and be like, here's where they're looking. Facebook Audience Insights understands just all the stuff that you're doing on Facebook, creates an amazing array of data that then becomes a database that advertisers can call on to understand your behaviors, predict your behavior, and market stuff in front of you, right? When I was getting married, there were a lot of ring ads and engagement ads and hotel location ads in my thread, right? When we had a baby, suddenly, bye bye baby and Babies R Us, they're all over our stuff, right? Facebook knows because you're telling the world, and then the advertising follows that. And then the thing to understand about this is that there is behavioral learning. The artificial intelligence really has gotten very good. So there's pixel tracking. So it's like, hey, this person visited this site, we followed them around the internet, and they are also looking for a car. They like the color red. Tuesday is the day they spend the most money. So most likely, if you want to sell a red car on Tuesday, this is where you spend your money to advertise in front of Johnny. And so it's gotten that sophisticated, and the good people of the world need to understand this, because we need to know how. It's like kung fu. You can either use it to defend yourself and be a force for good, or you can use it to be part of, kind of the evil warlord empire. But the Kung Fu itself is neutral. It's the ability to use it. And so I want to teach you some good Kung Fu so that when you're out there, you can use the tech to advance your business in an ethical, authentic, transparent way. Okay, and we're going to get back to that. There's also some real serious hyper segmentation. So based on what your behavior is, the software will know what conversations to have with you, and these apps and augmented reality and all these things that are coming, you can't ignore this stuff, right? It's like you cannot be an ostrich, and if your business isn't looking at any of this stuff, then your business is going to go the way of the dodo bird. And if you still have money to make, you need to pay attention to this stuff, and it's not terribly complicated once you understand kind of the fundamentals and you go. Now, couple this with this idea that socially conscious business is on the rise and that this investment class is up 700%. So socially responsible investing is up 700%. Conscious businesses are doing better than other non-conscious kind of for-profit businesses. And again, we covered a lot of this in Prosperity in the Roadmap, but people want better businesses. People want to support better businesses. People want to match their monetary value with their actual values, and they want to support the good guys. So if you are a good person and doing good person business, people would rather shop with you. So let's connect these dots so that you can stay in transparency and authenticity and bring your conscious business, your idea that you want to share with the world into this marketplace, but also be able to compete. Because chances are, if you've tried to do the web thing or the Facebook thing, and your Wellness Consultants LLC Facebook page has 23 likes and 2 of them are your mom and your aunt, it's because you didn't understand the strategy and the tactics to be successful here. It doesn't mean you're not as good as the next person. It just means you're not as good at marketing. And I had to learn this the hard way, right? I'm not a marketing guy. I'm a monk guy and I'm a doctor guy. And so I had to really learn how to step into this realm of marketing because, at the end of the day, if people don't buy your stuff, you don't have a business, you can't scale your message, everyone goes home, right? And so you need revenue to build your business. And I had a hard time with this. I got to say, I had a really hard time when we first went into business because, I come from this all advertising is yucky kind of judgment set, right? Where it's come on, okay, here they're now just trying to sell me, right? And so there's this real kind of yucky vibe around marketing. And so it took me a long time to really learn how to stay in that authenticity of who I am and share that authentically and say, oh yeah, and this is how we, eat. This is how we make money. And if you like this, then this is for you. And do that in a way that is transparent and congruent with how things can move through your business. And that was really what changed, my ability to scale from, just getting going to growing well.org and growing all the things is just being look, here's the thing. Everyone, you work for a living, you do things. Someone comes into your restaurant, you charge them money for food. So if you're doing content online, at some point, people understand that you need to charge and monetize that. So if you've had a blog for a decade and you've never translated that into a revenue stream, we need to kind of connect those dots for you now because you can't keep blogging for free, right? Your time needs to generate money to feed your family, right? It's if I go home, my wife, she goes grocery shopping and there needs to be money in the debit account for her to buy those groceries for my kids and my dogs and my goldfish and everybody, right? And so what I do as the heartfelt, person who wants to radically transform the world for good also has to be coupled with revenue to match that, to be able to continue to support what I do, grow what I do, hire staff, and do all the things that I want. So if you started a blog, you maybe started a podcast, you started an audio series and all these things, and you kind of got stuck, this is where we're going to work on getting unstuck. And so I really want to kind of tie that in because we we saw this, right? We went through this growth curve, and I hired all these consultants and all these monkeys. When you first come into business and everyone kind of smells money, they're like, oh, well, I'll come, for $3,000 a month, I'm going to come in and I'm going to show you how to do all this, or I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, bop-a-dop-a-dop, bada boom, bada bang. Very, very little results. And so I saw this in my own life. I saw this with some of my friends growing in, and there was this bleeding edge of losing tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars to ineffective strategies because I didn't understand what the game was, right? And I had a friend at one point who was like, listen, if you don't understand the game that you're getting into, you're lost, right? And you can't afford to not understand how to be online. Like, there's no looking away here. Like, if you have a business and you want to have a future, you have to understand how to play on the internet. And that's not, look, I don't make the rules. That's just how things have shaken out, right? And so that link between that and us kind of growing into that place and being like, okay, do I become like the CNN of like wellness media and like become this like top-down conglomerate that's like incredibly top-heavy in cost, needs to draw advertising dollars and keep generating millions and millions of dollars a month in revenue to keep the beast going? Or can I do one quality movie a year, do a free podcast, do some blogging, watch my kids grow up, and then help the helpers and train you in how to bring up your own signal to help the world? What's more in line with how I want to live? And it was curtain B. Like, I really want to connect the dots. So a couple of years ago, we started some business to business training. It originally started with our corporate training, where we have at this point like 2,300 companies that come to us for corporate wellness content, and they kept asking us, hey, who do you have in Wichita for this and that? And I'm like, look, I don't want to staff thousands of people around the country for corporate wellness, so why don't I train the trainer? So originally, a few years back, we started training healthcare practitioners in how to learn to do corporate wellness, so then we can just be like, here's our graduates, go hire them. Good. We're going to stay in our lane. And then what we realized is most of the people in that space were egregious at online business. They did not, like, their website was developed in the late 90s, and like they just didn't have the presence to be able to get in front of a company and be like, oh, hey, I'm going to do your wellness. They're like, your website sucks. Like, I'm not going to work with you. Like, that's a reflection on who you are, which isn't true, but is how things kind of translate in the business world. So they're like, I can't trust that this person's going to manage my employees well. And so then what spun out of it was our media training, which we've done for about 3 years now, which has had hundreds of graduates of people who learn the ropes and get into the game of boosting their signal online with media, and it's been an incredibly successful thing. I'm going to tell you about that at the end of this presentation. I just want you to know that at that point we have 200 seats available. We're opening up a new semester for that, and if it's for you, you'll know it by the end of this, and if it's not for you, God bless you. Please don't sign up for it, because we have 200 seats and we really want to make sure we're focused in on the right people that we can help get their message from where it's at now to where it needs to be, and that scale comes with understanding what to do and being backed by a good network. So what I'm going to do for the rest of our time here is work to help you understand top down what this realm is about, how to think about it, and how to really position yourself so that you are in line with success, prosperity, and abundance. And so wherever you're at in your business, these are all kind of core principles. So I'm going to go over what we're going to go over now for the rest of our time together. And again, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat thread. Sean will pick them up and we'll jump on them. I promise I will get to them at the end, and Sean's monitoring and he's kind of pinning all those here. So we're going to go over how to set up your company right and stay anchored in your mission, the need to effectively communicate your mission to your customers, how to find the right prospects and turn them into happy customers, how to share the positive results that you're already getting and that you've created into the world tastefully, how to keep growing and making a lasting impact, how to use online media to extend your voice and reach millions of people, right, which is one of the core things here, how to set up your website and grow that as the hub of your business and not have your site live on some third party like Facebook, and there's important reasoning for this that I'll get into. How to reach higher, further your mission as you grow, but to grow organically so you don't outpace yourself, get over your skis. I've seen a lot of people crash and burn because the idea of having a big company has a lot of allure, but without the right fundamentals, you're going to fall on your face, and it sucks, right? It's not good. And believe you me, I've run these miles. Like I've overexpanded in my medical clinics at one point. And then Blue Cross and Medicare changed a certain law. They stopped reimbursing for code that was like our bread and butter. And everything was just like top heavy. And it became a very ugly, scary situation very quickly. And I could have scaled and grown in a very different way and been a little bit more risk averse and gotten further with it. So you learn, right? I used to have hair. Like you learn from your mistakes, and I want to save you some of that pain today by helping you avoid some of those things, right? And then how to keep the money coming in to help finance your dreams. If you don't have the revenue coming in, you can't afford to scale the way you want to scale in the way the economy is set up right now. And so look, we live in a money economy, we live in a credit economy. It's how to leverage capital and how to use your money to grow and bring in things that bring money instead of just dead weight, right? It's like, hey, I paid this consultant, they failed me, now I don't have any money, and now I'm dead, right? And so there's a lot of those types of things that I'd like to help you avoid with the pitfalls here as well. So the next 3 steps you are going to need to take to get this process going, and write these down if you will, is you have to define the problem that you want to solve, right? And really get really clear on what it is. Is it plastic in the oceans? Is it GMO foods? Is it, the way the legal system is set up? Whatever it is, like we have students from all walks of life. So like I've been surprised every time I think I kind of get who, needs this training. I got a guy who teaches trapeze and he, has trouble getting his message out there, right? So you have to define the problem. It's like people want to face their fears. They can't do it. So he found that trapeze is a wonderful way of facing the fear. So he matches it with his solution, right? And then you need to have a feedback loop of how to prove you're fixing it. So it's define the problem, match it with the solution set that you have, and then get the feedback loop of whether or not what you're doing is working, right? You got to get really clear on the problem you're trying to solve, and then you need to find a solution that isn't just dogma in your head, like, oh, I think this will work, but it's a solution that you keep iterating on until you have just solid, rock solid proof that it's working. And then you can show those results, and then you keep improving on that, and you get better and better at what you do. And then the testimonials come in, the referrals come in. It all just kind of like feeds its own ecosystem. So that, to me, is one of the kind of hallmark traits of a symbiotic business and a symbiotic ecosystem, is that what you do solves a problem for people or the world. That solution set, then it's like alchemy, right? You turn lead to gold. That solution then starts to feed the results that then become the proof points of what you're doing, and also the referral base and all of the kind of the momentum. There's the margin, materiality, and momentum that we talked about in the roadmap interviews for those of you who've seen them. That's one of the core things that Naomi Whittle taught, was like one of the main things is you get that momentum, and that comes from solving problems. If you're really good, let's say if you're like a chiropractor, and you're incredible at getting rid of tension headaches, and you just need to share this information with the world, then you get your patient testimonials, you get there and you figure out how to scale your solution for tension headaches. And maybe it's your hand skills. So then it's about getting people within the 15 to 30 miles of your radius to come into you, right, to have you do this solution. But then it's about becoming a trainer to other doctors to train this solution to other people. They might be under your certification program. They might be, working as an affiliate in your clinic. They might train with you and open up clinics that are owned by you down the street. There's a lot of ways to scale, but there's very clear and articulate ways to think about it before you scale. And that's what we're going to get into here. Okay. Everything good with the feed? Everything cool? I just want to do a check.
Yeah, I have a few questions, but we'll have a Q&A section later.
Okay. Is there anything that did I skip something or whatever? If not,
nope.
Jump in. Yeah.
Nope,
Let's
Yep.
go. I want to be mindful I want to get through a lot of this stuff, and then we're going to go. So One of the things I want to start with here is that bad advice is really, really expensive, and I've taken a lot. I've hired a lot of consultants, I've hired a lot of gurus and experts over the years, and they come in and they're not great. They have their little thing, but it doesn't necessarily see the entirety of your business. And because you are trusting them to fix everything for you, and they have some sort of magic pill, it's like the same thing. It's like, I have this diet, and this diet's going to fix your whole life. It's like, well, actually, you're not there when I, ordered breakfast this morning, and so I actually need to participate in this thing called life, right? And so I need you to step in and understand there's a lot of BS out there, and this bad advice costs much more than just money. It's time, energy, and enthusiasm, right? And so there's only a certain amount of willpower and enthusiasm that's built up for a new project. And if you spend it all in like a false start, if you just like go down this alley and be like, oh, we hired this marketing team and we paid them 35 grand and they didn't do anything. I've seen more good ideas fail on that, just walking off that plank, than anything else, right? And then there's the flip side of that, which is you can't just Google everything. And I want to be very clear about this, because there's these guys that overcharge everything and want like some sort of consulting retainer to like do your marketing or do your email or do this or do that. Like when you start wholesale giving away whole parts of your business, it's very dangerous. And I need you to understand how to run your business before you outsource any of it, or else you're always going to be in a compromised position. 1 out of 100, you're going to get lucky and some angel just like hooked you up and made you a millionaire. Most of that time, people are overcharging and under delivering, and that makes a big perplexing challenge in your life as to like, whose fault is it? Because you're not sitting in the chair. You're not watching what's happening with your business. And the other flip side of that is like, well, everything's free on the internet. Yeah, but guess how SEO works? Is when you start Googling things, the companies out there that are these consultants, that are these solutions, understand that you're looking for these solutions and you're Googling them. So they have a vested interest in doing the SEO, writing the articles, and creating the ecosystem for you to go, oh, yeah, there's a solution. Wow, I read in this great article that this is the best software. Brought to you by this software, right? And so they do this thing where it's like you feel like you've done research on Google. And what you're actually doing is walking into an SEO trap, because the people that are showing up high on that, and like it's really hard, even the third parties get compromised a lot of times, is they've been nudged and they've been compromised by industry. So, what I Google oftentimes is an article that's been boosted by, say, like a microsite. So you start all these little microsites that then push back to your main site, but this microsite talked so highly of this product that it was kind of arm's distance away from, but you just paid someone to build that for you. And so a lot of the stuff that you get Googled is hard to trust at this point. And so I want you to be very careful about the free information you get on the internet, because nothing's really free if you're not careful, right? And so there's usually something that's backing it, and there's some really legitimate companies doing legitimate work, but you have to understand that this is the game, and a lot of the things that you're getting in a Google search are coming very much through this understanding of the cloud and the search cloud and where these keywords are, and based on the keywords, what articles to write to then put this product in front of you, right? And so I need you to get that, because what I want to do is really help you set your company up right, stay aligned in your mission, not take the bad advice, and stay focused, right? So how do I find my mission, right? And so Simon Sinek, I think, says this best. There's a great book called Start with the Why. Why do you do what you do? Why? What is the why behind your company? What problem are you solving? And get really concrete. Are you fixing gut bacteria? Are you bringing up people's energy? Are you bringing solar solutions to the petroleum-based economy? Are you helping people get out of like tax debt? Whatever that is, what is the problem that you're solving? And then who has that problem? Who out there has that problem? Understand them, right? Understand who they are. Are they male or female? How old are they? What are they named? Do you have a name for that avatar? What keeps that person up at night? What is their biggest issue? What is their pushback? Where have they gotten stuck? Where have they gotten lost? Where can you help them? And what solution that you have is positioned in a way for them to be able to understand it and roll with it in a way where they understand it's going to help them. You could have the best solution for them, but the way you communicate isn't in their language, and they're just not going to hear you. They're not going to hear you, right? And so how do you position your solution once you understand what the problem is, who has that problem, and how you could fix it? How can you put that solution in front of them and then create that feedback loop to show it's working, show them that it's working so that they're a happy customer, they're telling their friends, they're giving you testimonials, plus then you have that anchor of quality work you're doing in the world that could then extend your mission, extend on. Because look, crap dies, right? If you're not helping people, you're not moving ahead. So make it about finding what that mission is, anchoring to that mission, helping people. Because what's going to happen is as you start to grow and scale, you're going to get distracted. You're going to get distracted by all of the scaling issues, which is like, oh my God, there used to be 3 of us and we just go to lunch and now there's like 27 and like HR says I can't say this and that we had a problem with this and it gets very complicated very quickly. And so a lot of companies who start with a mission end up getting kind of caught up in the operations. A lot of times the overhead starts to go up very high, and then all of a sudden you start to really miss why you're in this because you're chasing the money more than you're serving your mission. And as soon as you start chasing the money instead of serving your mission, you start to falter. Right? So, it's the old kind of biblical thing, right? Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven. There's a lot of value to that. Is just stay focused on helping people, but don't be like all of my, well-intentioned friends, present company included. Like I came from this world, which is, it's all about helping people and repelling money, right? Is if you're just helping people and not making the money you deserve to keep going, your business will crash and fail. If you are, say, a massage therapist and you're charging $35 an hour and your living wage should be $85 and you're losing $50 an hour of like life force that you're putting in, that career is going to end and you are not going to be happy and you're going to be out of energy and vitality and you're going to be broke and you're going to be tired and now you can't help people. Right? And that's the harsh reality of life, is that you just have to understand that helping the world requires helping yourself. So you got to get paid, and that has to be a part of it. So now, what do people pay for? They pay for value. They pay for the intrinsic value that they're getting from something. Like if I have this headache, and I actually had this the other day, I was working out with a trainer and like we were doing shoulders and I was like, oh, let's see, I think we're overdoing it. And like my shoulder thing started recruiting my trap, and all of a sudden I had this headache that wrapped around to my right eye. And I was just like, oh, showstopper, right? Like showstopper, this sucks. Right? And like I was willing at that point to pay $1,000 to make that headache go away, right? Because I could not go on with my life, right? And so I'm like, ow, what do I do? What do I do? Right? And so like it is this huge problem in my life, and it's the problem in front of me, right? And fortunately, I knew a couple techniques and kind of got my shoulder, or my neck to pop, and it was gone, right? But if someone had that solution for me right then and there, how much would I have paid? A lot, right? Not to say that you're going to egregiously charge. So if your price is $125 for a treatment that would have fixed that, man, not only would I have paid that, I would have thanked you up and down. I would have hugged you and like named my children after you, right? And so that's value. You offered me value. You found my pain point. You were there where I needed you, and you helped me. Awesome, right? And so that's how I want you to think about intercepting the needs and the wants of your avatar with your solution. Is really figure out, fish where the fish are at, right? Figure out where the problem is and where they're at and how to get in front of them, and don't market to everybody, because everybody is not your customer, right? Everybody is not your customer. Find the right people that you are the best at helping, and help them first. And if you get better at that, then you'd be like, okay, well, we could help these people, we could help these people. Great. But stay focused And don't do the shotgun marketing approach, because that'll get you into a lot of trouble. So one of the ways to do this is using surveys. We've had this in multiple things, and just transparently, we do this. We help people, and by helping people, we understand how to help them better, right? So I've done this numerous times at well.org, where it's just like, hey, we're looking at next year's content, and I need to know like what you like about what we're doing. What's your favorite thing? Why? What's keeping you up at night? What else would you like to see from us? And then we leave kind of open. And I learned this from Ryan Levesque, who has a really good system for this. Is like then he leaves kind of these open boxes where it's just like, oh, and then tell me what else, right? And then people start telling you in their own language what is keeping them up at night, what's bothering them, whether it's GMO foods or if it's evil banks or whatever it is, right? Depending on the industry you're in, people start telling you, and you're like, oh, interesting. Everyone's using this word here, right? I'm just gonna make an example. It's like, I have this thing about conscious capitalism, and there's this whole subset of people that just don't trust Big Brother, right? And so it's like, okay, so maybe my blog needs to address this Big Brother concern and really start talking about Big Brother and what it is. And maybe we explore the history of the Rothschilds and all these things, all the stuff that shows up on our pages with people that are concerned. And we do that, right? Or maybe, people really just need more actionable items. It's like, tell me where I can bank, right? And it's just like, well, listen, you're in a small town in Australia. We don't have the bandwidth for that, but they're telling us that that's what they want. So it's like, okay, well then our business will follow what our customers are asking for. So now I have community banks across the US and across the world. We're building all these databases to be like, here, how else can we help you, right? And that's what builds a loyal customer base, is listening and asking and then talking to them in a way that reflects the language that they're talking to you in. So it's like, a lot of the kind of the really smart marketers out there, and I had to learn, again, I'm not a smart marketer. I'm a guy that hired a lot of good people, bad people, and became better at this because I looked at how to do purposeful business, because I have to, extend my message, right? My message needs to get out there. Okay, what does my message need to get out there? Let's help more people get out there. Let's go. Let's figure out who the good people are. Let's figure out how to stay in our lane and do it in an ethical, tasteful way, right? And one of the things they do is they'll look at the surveys and they'll look at the language that people will respond to you with. And they will take that language and reflect it back in their marketing language. So if I use certain vernacular in telling you what keeps me up at night, then the company is using that vernacular back. You're like, yeah, they understand me, they get me, right? And so this is what a lot of the sophistication that the other companies have been using for years, that you need to understand, because that becomes a part of being like, okay, I get it. There are many, many forces competing for the mind share, the headspace of the people in our world, and we need to go get out in front and let them understand that we're here to help. And if they don't get that, then we have trouble, right? And so I just want to make sure I covered that point. Yeah. And then, one of the best places to do it is obviously Facebook. Twitter is a good place. You will understand people's sentiment by understanding Facebook audience insights. Write this down. Go look at Facebook audience insights and just look at what you can find and garner from different pages. If you have a page, if you're not looking at your audience insights, you're in trouble, right? And as a business tool, it's not for, it's one of the best business tools out there. They have very sophisticated artificial intelligence that helps them understand like a 1% audience. So it's like if I have buyers of a certain product, I can upload that. Let's say I have 1,000 buyers of a book that I sell. I can upload that buyers list to Facebook. Facebook will find, based on their algorithm, people that are within 1% of likelihood to be just like them and market to that 1% custom audience based on their algorithm, right? And that's where it's gone. So like, again, if you're trying to get your business going and you're not using that, you're really kind of, these guys are wearing brass knuckles and you're bare knuckles, right? It's not fair. So you need to understand some of this stuff to get in. And that's where, understanding the pain point, understanding the messaging, and understanding the Facebook audience insights is a big deal. Staying hydrated. How to find the right prospects and turn them into happy customers. Sony had a great story with this a few years back when the movie, what's it called? The Dictator? No, was it The Dictator? No, The Interview. The Interview. Yeah, The Interview. The Interview came out where, the North Koreans, they hacked the database and all the theaters were like, we're not going to cover this. Sony freaked out. They had nowhere to show their film. And at the time, it blew my mind that Sony had no email list. I'm like, okay, you make these $200 million movies, but you have zero distribution. You are 100% reliant on outside parties to distribute your content. And so that really taught me, it was like, oh my goodness, you need to have your own way of getting in front of happy customers, which is your blog, which is your podcast, which is your video content. If you don't have your own website serving your own audience and having an authentic conversation within your own universe, it's a very, very big deal. And because here's the thing, I don't care if you have 1 million people on your Facebook page, you might get 1 to 3% of them getting your posts organically. The rest of them, Facebook's going to charge you to see. Okay, so what that means is they're not really your fans. They belong to Facebook. They look like your fans, and Facebook is charging you to talk to them. Whereas if they're on your email list, you can send them an email for a fractional cost. I mean, 1/1000th of a cost, really. It's a fractional cost to send them an email and be like, hey, it's Pedram. I have this thing going on. I hope hope you're having a good day. If you're interested in this, let me know. Right? Works beautifully, and that's because you, through your audience, are engaged and you are having this conversation with people in an authentic, organic way that allows for you to stay in front of them and find what they're telling you based on, look, I'm gonna take at least 30 minutes, if not more, of questions after this from you, right? Because I want to know where you're stuck in this, and then I want to continually craft everything that we do in our online education to become better and better at helping serve you. And I've been doing this for years. That's why our stuff is so good, right? Is because I listen. And so once you have people in your channel and you listen and you learn from where they're stuck and how maybe what you're doing isn't connecting the dots, you just get better at connecting the dots, right? And then you start to turn them into happy customers because they understand that you're listening and you are serving them, not wasting their time. Right? You could do this really well through an email. You could also do this through kind of internal apps at this point. Facebook, Twitter, all these other guys, they charge you to be in front of them. And there are merits to it. There are wonderful things that you can do with these platforms. But email to me is the highest standard. I think you need to be there. Right, and I say that and say, get a good CRM software, which is customer relations management. We use Infusionsoft. There's a few others out there. You get ConvertKit, which is a little less sophisticated but a lot cheaper, and it'll help you with your shopping cart. It'll help you with your email delivery. It'll help you grab emails off of your blogs and your pages, and then get into kind of customized conversations with them. It's a big deal. So look into Infusionsoft. I think it's good for any business that's going. And by the way, if you're just thinking of an idea, let's just help you pressure test your idea and kind of work on that. Don't go spending money until you have your idea, you've done your research. Once you have your idea and you have like a business and you just trying to figure out how to scale it, and there's revenue to be had, you're just kind of stuck not knowing where to get new customers, that's when you could really turn up the dial, right? That's when you're right in the crosshairs of being like, okay, I got this. Let's step up, right? The internet is here to stay. So if you don't understand that your site needs to be a hub for everything, you are going to be in trouble, right? And so having these intelligent conversations, listening back, paying attention to your audience, understanding what they're looking for, and then understanding the keywords of what they're looking for, and then having articles that go out and get more people like them who are also trapped. So it's like, I helped these people with this. So who are the people like them? Let me get the keywords from Google. You go to Google Analytics and Google Keyword, the keyword tool. You take those, put them back into your articles as you write new articles in the future, and you understand that you want to rank for those keywords. Then more people that are coming in with that problem come into the solution that you're matching, and then it's a match made in heaven, right? It starts to work because there's a word that the internet uses a lot. It's called traffic. You need traffic, right? And so the traffic, either you're paying for it, you're getting for free somehow, you're generating, you're doing lectures and talks and getting people to go onto your website. But traffic and eyeballs cost money. And so the way you do this is you can go organic search, which is SEO, and get articles to start ranking so you get free traffic in. But if you have the economics set up for your solution to a problem, to ring the cash register, to make a certain amount of money, to pay for ads or to pay for kind of boosted search and all these types of things, it'll scale up your business. It'll scale you up to a point where then you'll get out of the place you're stuck, and it'll help you grow and grow and grow and grow, right? So these are the kind of the fundamentals that come with understanding traffic, and that's where you need to kind of lean in and really get the clarity of your message and the solution to deliver that solution set, right? So the next point is using online media to extend your voice and reach millions of people. Some stats: there's more than 3 billion people using the internet right now, and there are another 3 billion coming. Right? There are going to be pretty much the world population in the next 15 years, aside from some really impoverished areas, that will have access to the internet. And the internet is here to stay. Entire industries are going away. But here's the thing. The internet is not Wild West anymore. The internet is where business has moved. So new industries are emerging, new businesses are emerging. The growing class of businesses are not people working in these big corporate buildings with fluorescent lights on them. It's these solopreneurs that are working off of laptops, coming up with an idea, popping up a Shopify store, learning how to drive traffic with their blog, and getting things to work. So it's about being on the right side of this, because the bots are not creative. The bots are really good at analytics. The bots are really good at delivering information to you. But human ingenuity and personal narrative cannot be replaced. Okay? Personal narrative. We are storytellers. We need story. We need story. So what's your story? How are you telling it? How are you sharing that with people? Get your story, get your authentic message, get your transparent, authentic message that is there to help the world. Share that in a way that touches people, and then use the bots and use the computers and the technology to help get the internet to send you traffic to scale your business and grow. People need to connect. People want to connect. People are dying to connect, okay? And so rewarding good business, we already know is happening in the industry. So one of the things that I want to talk about here, and it's really important. Okay, so I'm gonna, in about 15 minutes, I'm gonna talk about our Media Academy, and we're gonna see if it's right for you. And there's some information that's gonna pop up on the page right now, but just stay with me. You can browse it, but just stay with me, at least listen to me as we're going here, because I wanna make sure that I get to all your questions. I had to step out of the gateway model. When I got into this film realm, it was because I started making a film with a group that I started to disagree with. They wanted to talk about like conspiracy theories that the government has keeping you down, and machines that are cure everything. And I was like, dude, I think the healthcare crisis is not what you're making this out to be at all. I think people just need to eat more vegetables. And I ended up buying the rights to Vitality and having to finish the film on my own. But then when I started talking to distributors, it was like, oh my goodness, these people suck. You're gonna take my asset, you're gonna take all the rights, you're gonna make me beg for reports, pray that you did it right. It cost me too much to audit whether or not you are honest or not, and it's gone. And so that's the old gatekeeper model. And so I stepped out of that gatekeeper model with my first film. I gave it away for free. And what I did is I backed it with a lifestyle program. So it's like, here's the movie. It's for free. Watch it, share it, whatever you want. I spent a lot of money on this. It's for free. And if you're inspired, we have this program called the Vitality Challenge, which is, I think it was $100 at the time, which can help you get healthier in diet, exercise, mindset, and life and sleep, which is what we talked about in the film. Helped tens of thousands of people, right? Tens of thousands of people helped there. But at the time, I think we got like 125,000 emails, about 6 figures in revenue, and all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, I could keep making movies in an authentic, transparent way, give them away for free, back it with a product that is supportive of the narrative of that film, and use those funds to keep making really good, high quality content without anyone telling me what needs to be in my films, because I don't want to have a gatekeeper. I don't want to have someone telling me what to say. And so, we just did that with our recent film, Prosperity. The film is free. It is in right now German, French, and Spanish, and it's going into multiple languages, and it's going to be all over. The UN is showing it this week. I mean, it's a big deal, and we're keeping the film for free. It cost me $1 million. People are like, well, how can you afford to do that? It's like, well, here's our business model. We have this roadmap series that is $99 that also is going to keep giving value at the end of it. And if you like what you got there and you love the education we provided you, then this is an awesome way to keep getting educated and inspired. And we're going to keep supporting you learning how to be in this conscious business realm. And people do it, right? People love it. And so what we do for our Media Academy students is we go through our own programs and a few other programs that are friends of ours, and really dissect this freemium model and show specifically how to do the authentic give on the front end, and then translate that into revenue that you're happy to report and share back with the world, because a percentage goes back to whatever cause you want, and it's a spiral of goodness, right? And so what we do with that is we say, listen, we also have our business to business training. Like if you want to grow your business, we have our Media Academy. If you want your healthcare business to go up, we have our Corporate Academy. We have this. And so it's like, hey, these are things. No one's got a gun to your head, but these are ways that we can help you. And people who get that are like, oh my God, yeah, that's exactly what I need. And I love and trust these guys, right? And so that becomes an authentic business model that can scale and grow based on giving and serving and helping people, and then just getting really good at understanding that you don't need the gateway, you don't need the gatekeepers. You can be your own, right? When I did this thing, I was, getting paraded around, my last book, The Urban Monk, it was a New York Times bestseller. It did really well. And I'm actually going to deconstruct exactly how I did my bestseller campaign for our Media Academy students in a couple weeks. Is you go through this process and all of a sudden everyone wants to talk to you. So I'm getting paraded around Hollywood, right? And so I'm going into all these production houses, and these guys are like, well, yeah, but if we did this and we made it a little more dramatic and, someone died, then it would be interesting. And so, I'm talking to all these reality show people, right? And they're trying to go through this, and I was just getting nowhere. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. That's not my brand. I don't want to do that. That's gross. I don't that's not where I want to be. And so I kind of flipped the tables, and I was like, okay, guys, you keep talking about these networks writing the checks. How do the networks get paid? And they go, well, the advertisers. And they go, okay, how do the advertisers get paid? And they're like, well, the brands. So the brands are selling stuff. They need to sell stuff. Who pays the brands? Well, the viewers, the consumers, the customers. I'm like, okay, so if we cut out the network, we cut out the advertisers, and even cut out the brands and put our own stuff in front of people and found a way to authentically translate this, it would cost exponentially less to get in front of people. And they go, yeah. So either you can work with brands and go one step up the food chain, or just support your own brand, and you don't need to go through all that mess, okay? Traditional media is falling apart, right? And so what you need to understand is people don't like getting marketed to, right? People just, it's gross. People taste that, right? And so how can you say, look, here it is, here's what I do, here's how we eat, this is cool, if you like it, great, right? And so, you turn on the radio. I can't listen to the radio anymore. I can't watch TV. We have cable, which I don't even know how we ended up with again. I got to talk to my wife about it. It's we had some bundle that came in, and the kids were watching the Disney Channel the other day. And I literally, I had to stop, and I said, oh my God, he just asked me for that toy yesterday. I get what's happening. I don't watch TV. And it was just these kids are getting bombarded by media messaging, and they're trying to get them young. And then my kid's nagging me about getting him this thing that I don't even know what it is until he shows me on the commercial and was like, full stop, no more Disney Channel, right? So parents get this, right? As a loving dad, I'm like, nope, out of the house. Hold the gate right there, right? And so when you start doing the authentic work that you do, you get feedback loops of testimonials, customer engagement, community. People start telling each other, and through that transparent, authentic thing, it's like, hey, this is a good thing. Come over here, right? My Urban Monk Academy has thousands of people that like are like, hey, listen, like I hear you've really helped my friend. I want to do this. So like I don't even really market it. Like people just come, right? It's a really good thing. It's helped people, right? I don't have to work as hard on the back end because on the front end I made it about helping people, right? That's the thinking that should go into building whatever it is that you build. I use the example of the prosperity roadmap. And so one of the things that we also did with our Urban Monk reboot was during my book launch, I did a very untraditional model where I flipped the script and said, look, I'm not going to sit there and bang people over the head and say, buy my book and, you know, I'll buy you a car and all this kind of crap. And I'm not going to buy my own books and do all that stuff. Instead, what I said is like, hey guys, and I worked with a lot of affiliates and partners, and I send for a lot of people. They send for me. We support people. I support people whose work I like. And they basically, I said, hey, listen, I'm going to do a 7-day sampler course, right? You can find this on theurbanmonk.com right now. And it's going to be a give of 7 days of like, hey, let me help you, right? Let's clean up your diet. Let's clean up your exercise. Let's get you moving. Let's do some stress management. Let's talk about your sleep. In 7 days, it's like, let me see what I can do to help you with your life. And out of that big give, is like, hey, by the way, I have a new book. Just based on helping people and leaning forward with that, I hit the New York Times bestseller list in a week, right? And people who read that book, I think, last time I checked, 54% of people who read that book join the Urban Monk Academy, which is like a $300 thing, because they're like, hey, I like this guy. Because I led with a give and I kept giving and giving, and then people happily support the other stuff because then the Urban Monk Academy overserves them, right? Just over deliver on what it is and just keep giving value. And that's kind of the hallmark of all this, right? That's where I want you to focus in on your conscious business, is to understand that you want to deliver value. Yes, charge money, deliver value, show where you charge money, and continue to do that, right? And the reason I like conscious business is because it is the key. It is the key to change. I really think that there's tasteful ways to be in business, make a profit, live in purpose, and do what you want to do. So whether it's writing a book, making a movie, doing a famous blog, doing some sort of video diary, whatever it is. I mean, there's a million ways to do this. We talk about a lot of this in the Academy. I mean, there's a lot there. But whatever it is that you want to do, I believe that using business to scale and understanding that you deserve to get paid so that you can keep going is where I think a lot of our audience gets lost in that translation. And that's where I really want to help you kind of step through that so that you can step up and build your signal, build your bandwidth online. Because everyone is online. Everyone's carrying around a phone. That's where they're getting it, right? So look, I'm not a technology guy, I'm a health guy, right? And so a lot of people are like, well, I don't understand the internet. And I'm like, look, I didn't either. And so there's ways of doing it, and there's ways of scaling. There's ways of working with WordPress and Shopify and a lot of the things out there that can keep you focused in on what you're good at, which is probably the message, which is probably, the writing or whatever it is that your specialty is. Stay in your lane, understand the other stuff. And maybe if you have more time than money, you got to do some of that other stuff until the money comes in where you could pay other people to do that stuff. But don't pay people for things that if you don't have money, don't borrow against the farm to pay other people to do stuff. Learn how to do it yourself, so then you know who to hire. And you know how to hire, and you know if someone's overcharging you, because that's also a part of it, right? It's like, well, that took me 75 hours. You're like, well, it would have taken me 20, and you're the professional. Right? And so there's a lot of that you'll learn when you step in and kind of pay more attention to what you're doing. But you have to reach higher as you further your mission and you grow. So what I think you need to understand in all this is your KPIs, your key performance indicators. It's like, okay, so say for the prosperity film, my goal is to get it to 100 million views globally. Okay, in the first couple of weeks we did 300,000. That's a good start. How far am I close to that? I'm not even close. Okay, we got work to do. So is that one of my KPIs? Yes. For me, it's like, how many conscious businesses were we able to start and support and help grow? Great. How many can we do? We can only do 200 per quarter, per semester. And as we grow, we might be able to do more. Fine. Right? But that's all we can do right now. So just work towards like a 5-year goal and understand what you're capable of doing, and do that now and stay under your breath, right? This is one of the things that I do as a backpacker is, I've done a lot of a lot of backcountry backpacking. And you start day one, you slap 60 pounds on your back and you start hiking too fast, you're on the side of the trail panting. But if you could just slowly get going and kind of, get your wiggles out and feel your backpack on your back, adjust all your straps, kind of get your hips working right, and slowly start to kind of, cover the miles. It might take a day, it might take 3 days, but eventually you get to this place where you're in stride. And then you could start going up and down mountain passes, having conversations, and you're going. Anyone's a runner, anyone's been in athletics long enough gets that principle. Think of the same principle for your business. Rome wasn't built in a day, and there's a lot of advice out there that just comes at you that's just like there's too much to know, too much to do right now. And so what it does is it gets you to spin your wheels and get into analysis paralysis and be like, I don't even know where to start. There's too much, I quit, right? And so one of the things that I really, really want to emphasize as we get into this conversation of the Media Academy is if you are spinning your wheels and you are stuck because you don't know where to start, that's it's a question of clarity. It's a question of focus. And it's a question of really getting clear on what your service is, who you need to help, how you need to help them, and then laying out what needs to be done in what order to get there, and always remembering to kind of set up the monetization along the way so you're fueling your growth with profits so that you're not upside down for 2 years trying to make a profit on something, right? You start to see the results. You run a YouTube ad for $100 and you get, $62 back. You're like, okay, look, I'm 0.62 where I need to be to break even. Let me see if I could do X, Y, and Z on the back end of this, if I could get to that within 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. There's a lot of ways to do that so that you don't get over your skis and you get yourself into trouble. You need the revenue. You need the revenue to grow your staff, for some of the tech, the ads, and things that you don't even know you need right now, right? Like things just come up, bills come up. So you got to grow your top line and stay focused on your mission so that you could have a robust business. And so that's why we started teaching, I guess about 3 years ago in our Media Academy. And we started teaching people just like you how to scale their business and take these conscious voices and build a chorus out there online. Because I'm a nodal thinker, so I don't want or need well.org to be the end all be all of all like conscious everything, right? What I want to do is have nodes of like a family of conscious businesses all over the world that are bright lights that are all coming up and bringing everything up together. And in doing so, then I feel like I've created a network of like-minded people that are all bringing up their signal, making the world a better place and helping others go. So the well.org Media Academy, if this is for you, what we do is we jump into the basics of how to set up a website, how to get your business going, how to set up the fundamentals from start to finish. And it's not one of these things where it's like, oh, you should do this, right? There's plenty of that crap out there. Here's how you do it. Here's a screen flow of exactly how you do it, right? And what I do is I have our program director get on the phone with you if you're a new student and basically go through where you're at, figure out how to make a plan to then follow that plan so that you actually get results in the coming weeks and not just go, oh, there's some far off website that I'm going to build in 2025, right? You really start to understand how to get results and go. So it's the basics. It's how to do writing with some of the best copywriters in the business, how to do audio, how to start audio programs, how to do audio podcasts, how to do video segments, how to do lighting for video, how to do green screen video, legal considerations, what you need to know so you don't get sued, how to do privacy policy, terms and conditions, what you can and cannot say. No one teaches this stuff. How to syndicate your content, how to integrate all of the pieces of your ecosystem so that it's working together and you have a dashboard of data that you can understand so you can make good business decisions. If all you're looking at is your bank account, that's like driving by looking in the rear view mirror. So what data are you needing to look at to know where your business is going in front of you? The bank account is what's past, right? And so just teaching how to think better as a conscious business and how to integrate all that, use social media and grow and promote your business and do all that. So one of the things we started doing, and this has been an iterative process, and I want to be very clear that Look, every single semester, this thing gets better because we start learning from our students where they're stuck, where we need to communicate better, what we need to help connect the dots on better. And just every semester, and we're 3 years into this thing has gotten better and better and better to the point where, it's just like, there's no pipes leaking. Now it's just like, hey, there's new technology that like we got to talk about. So it's like, hey, this thing came up. What is it? Like, here's Instagram stories. Like, okay, let's cover that. But you'd be surprised where people get stuck. And so wherever you're stuck, either you're going to find it in the academy or we're going to help you through it, because I have this amazing team that are all under my payroll, so that when you come on and you become a member one time, lifetime, you have access to my team that's going to help you go. So it's like buying into a syndicate. And what we're doing is we're building a network of like-minded business people who are all working together to help make the world a better place and have a vested interest in helping each other grow. So we're growing our community, and we basically understand that it's lonely out there, right? And so how can we help you with these challenges? So one of the things I've just done is we have a lot of things that we've kind of layered into the program. And one of them is like our famous Urban Monk Academy that does really well. So it's like you get our Vitality Challenge, you get our Urban Monk Academy, you get a few of our online programs, partially because it's like, hey, here's some great stuff, but also it's because, look, now I want you to pick this apart. I want you to understand why this is so successful. Let me show you why this is so successful, right? But one of the reasons why the Urban Monk Academy has been so successful is the community and the group dynamics, because I realized that it's not just, after years of doing this, I've had personally, mea culpa here, right? Is I've also compartmentalized where it's like, oh, we have our personal development training, then we have our business training, then we have this. And I realized that a lot of the people in my personal development training were stressed out because they couldn't run their businesses right. And a lot of people in our business training just were not managing their life garden well, so that what was happening was it was like the family and the health and the interpersonal dynamics were really crowding out their ability to focus on their business. And so in the recent years, we've been looking at it, and now what we've done is we've kind of meshed it where it's like, here is this curriculum, here is the work, right, that you have in front of you to get through this media, and you can do it at your own pace. It's nothing stressful, right? But let me help you take your breath, right? So one of the things we're doing for our current class that's coming in, there's only 200 seats, is this is my new book. It just came out. It's doing really well. It's a great book. What I'm gonna do for every of our new students is I'm gonna send you an autographed copy of this book, and we're gonna do a read through together as a group from day 1 through 100, where everyone is going to learn how to stop time, decompress, and get more clear and more focused so you can be better at what you do. I'm very, very convinced at this point that a lot of the problems we have in business are actually personal front problems because of lack of clarity and focus and vitality and energy. So what I've done is I've now created accountability circles where we take 10 to 12 students, couple them with one of my Urban Monk coaches for a monthly call where everyone kind of runs through and is accountable to each other. And then my coach is there to help with the accountability. And then we kind of grow those little micro communities within the bigger community so you can help each other come up and grow. And then we workshop and say, hey, what do you guys think of this page? What do you guys think of this? And then I come on with my team, and I'm going to do this again. I haven't done this in a while for this class, is live personal engagement every single week. I'm going to jump on the call and basically do a live broadcast to be like, okay, let's go through the Urban Monk Academy. Here's why it works. Here's how it worked. Here's what we did wrong. Here's what I would do differently. Any questions, right? So I'm making myself personally available in a real-time capacity for this semester all the way through the end of January. And we're taking that and loading that in there. And then what we've also done, we did this a couple semesters ago and it's been extremely successful, is a custom onboarding where my team will get on with you and work with your specific case to be like, okay, what is happening in your business? Where are you stuck? Where do you need to go? What's in front of you? Great. Here's where I would go in the curriculum. Here's where you start. Let's stay focused. Do this. and stay focused on this, and when you're done with this, move to this. And then your accountability circle will stay on you and help you, because a lot of the time people just get frustrated and we know what we need to do, we just don't get to doing it. So what we've done is layered in all of this kind of yummy interpersonal connection with our other community leaders and dynamics, so that all this is coming together in a really fun way. And I'm really enthusiastic, shall I say, about our ability to help you further, right? It's like the difference between sitting on a stationary bike or getting on a real bike. You might burn the calories on the stationary bike, but you never really covered any real ground. So let's get the wheels to stop spinning, hit the ground, and cover some distance. And you'd be surprised how quickly this happens. And so there's another point to this that I want to make is we're rounding out right now towards the end of the year. Right? And what's important to understand is at the end of the year, for me in particular, and if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, the energy is a little different, but maybe you'll think about this the same way, is because of the calendar year, is I like to kind of come in, become a bit more introspective, get clear on where I want to be, and then hit the ground running in January. So this semester really is going to start with just learning some of the fundamentals, catching your breath, stopping time, and getting clear on where you want to go, so that, like the carpenters say, you measure thrice, cut once, right? Is let's get really clear so that you have the start of the new year with real clear execution and understanding of what the steps in front of you are, how to take it, and then you have myself, you have Sean, you have Lorenzo, you have my entire team, plus the Urban Monk coaches that are going to be in the accountability circles to let you go. Okay, so the price of the course is $29.99, just under $3,000. During this webinar, we're doing a $500 off rebate. Okay, so that and the code for that is 1798 to get $500 off plus $499 worth of value on the plus package of the roadmap, which is an incredible array of content. Now, if you are already a stakeholder, check your email or go to the member site. You guys have a different code. Go look there. That's where your code is, and that's where you guys as a stakeholder need to look for this. Okay, but this is for anyone who's not a stakeholder, it is $500 off right now. And what you get is our community. You get to look at the life, you get to look through what your life garden looks like, find that work-life balance, decide where your business needs to be, and position it that way. We're going to go through the book. You're going to work with me for 100 days. I'm going to report back to our community every day, and we're going to have dialogue of where we're stuck so we can manage that overwhelm and get through this together. The weekly call, the monthly group accountability, the onboarding call with our team, access to the team if you get stuck. And here's the thing. We're only taking 200 students, so it's on us to make sure you guys succeed. So look, if you're lazy, you're not going to do the work, don't do this. Don't do this, right? I need someone who's motivated to change the world, who really wants to stop spinning their wheels and get going, right? And so you get all the modules, everything you have is for lifetime, and then after that, after the 12 modules, we are constantly updating. We're constantly putting new information. Our community is alive and well. Your accountability circle could then, become your group of friends, and you keep going from there, right? And so it goes on and it keeps going, okay? So I want to get into questions. We're running 11 minutes over. I just want to say again, it's $500 off. The code is 1798. Sean could put that in the chat thread there. And look, there's over 10K worth of value and more gets stacked. The faculty inside of this course are people that you guys can't just get out. Like Celeste Fine has done multi-million-dollar deals with all of the best book writers really in the world. She's my agent. She comes in and teaches about how to write a successful book proposal, right? Jake Carney, who runs Alternative Dailies in there. Natalie Jill. I have friends in high places, and I've asked them all to come in and teach our community as a give to our community how to get their businesses going and scale it. You get access to that through the Media Academy, and it's a big deal, okay? So 200 seats, this discount, the coupon code you already got, and then stakeholders, check your email, go to the member site. That's it on that. If this is for you, please join us. I welcome you into our community. Just understand that, look, there is a time to start planting trees. The best time was 20 years ago. The next best time is right now. So if you have an idea and it hasn't manifested yet, you've got to get going on it. So if you are ready to scale your business, or if you have an idea and you're clear on it, this is for you, right? If you're still just kind of treading water, you don't know where you want to be in life, that's probably not the right place for you, right? We want to get people who understand, like you're in a business, you want to grow your business, great. Or you have an idea that's a killer idea, you don't know how to take it online, great. Or if you have a brick and mortar business and you need to come online, great, right? It's just, so you'll know, right? You know yourself. You could read the page, you could see for yourself if this is for you. And if it is for you, we welcome you to join us. Now, I'm done with all of that. I'm open to questions, and I'm going to stay and hang out as long as we need to cover the questions. And so, Sean, let us have it.
All right. Just moving my microphone in front of my face. So the first question that we got that actually a lot of people asked was there going to be a replay for this?
Yeah, we're going to, so obviously we are... not going to be able to answer live questions on the replay as well. We'll try to get to them, but it gets tough because I'm on a plane. My travel schedule gets pretty tough. We will get a link to this and share the replay, but it might take a few hours, right? But yeah, I mean, it's not like, oh, there's no replay. This is information for you, so happy to share it with you.
Great. Would it be possible to reserve a spot till I get the okay from my business partner who is unable to attend this seminar?
I don't know if we set up for reservations.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of first come, first serve. I know we guaranteed our stakeholders up through the weekend. I would say try to talk to the business partner as soon as you can. And just email Sean if you get stuck, and just tell him who you are, and we'll try to hold it for you. But I don't think we have the tech set up to reserve a spot.
Yeah, so just email me any questions, even if I don't ask them. SEAN@well.org.
Yep.
I will answer those questions. Let's see, scrolling down just to filter.
Yeah,
through
sorry,
them.
you had
a lot of questions.
over
So
here.
I'm kind of going from the bottom
top.
up.
Got it.
So if you want me to see your question, just repost it. What are people doing who want to change the world for the better but don't have money?
Make money. And that's the whole point, right? So our challenge is, so our curriculum is, it's not expensive because it's a lifetime access and all that, but it's still, it's money. By the way, we have a financing option. So there's a link there, and we have financing. It comes to I think $100 a month or something. And it's 6 months deferred interest. So if you could pay the thing off in 6 months, you have zero interest, the same as cash. So look at the finance, it's on the checkout page on add to cart. That could, be very helpful. But the whole point is, okay, let's figure out how to help you make money, right? And then use that to keep growing and making money with your money. And so that's a big part of this, right? Is, we need to keep these lights on, right? And so we got to make money to keep our education going. And so that's part of our deal as any business. Every business needs to live. And so for you, the question then becomes, how can you make money doing what you do better, or can you moonlight? Can you do other things to make money to get going? And then from there, can you use that to scale your operations, save up a little bit to grow your business, right? So, you got to look at where your money is spent, right? And then you got to look at maybe tightening that up wherever you can. And I don't know your life, right? But then you got to look at, okay, so I have a fixed income here. How can I make money on a side hustle here? How can I do X, Y, and Z to make more money to then start funding my dream? And that's a way I would like you to think, because money is not the problem, right? You have relationship capital, you have social capital, you have intellectual capital. So you could pretty much start a blog for free and learn how to do it. But if you have more time than money, then you better spend some time researching, right? And so that's part of it, is just you got to learn how to become a learner and learn how to kind of network with the right people to grow into the space that you're in and start making more money, save that, and then invest in yourself.
Can you tell us more about your team, their expertise, what makes them great support resources for us?
Yep. So Sean's been doing our social media for a long time. He'll do the onboarding and come on. Carl Lindahl was, he was one of Ted Turner's right-hand men over at A&E for years. He was at HBO in the History Channel. He's like one of the most seasoned TV execs that you'll get. So I have very solid TV background. Like our podcasting came through Dave Asprey and what he does. So I went into Best of Class. Our Pinterest and our Facebook, some of it was through Natalie Jill, who's one of the best in the business. Jake Carney with SEO and paid marketing. So I went to the highest in the food chain to understand the best practices and what they're doing for the curriculum. And then our team not only understands that, but our team understands how to connect the dots to help you help yourself. And then if there's anything that gets stuck, it really kind of bubbles up to me. And then if I don't know it, I go to one of my, people that I know, and then we do that. The Urban Monk coaches are all trained to be coaches in their own right, and then they are also layered up to understand how to help you kind of get unstuck and then move things that are Media Academy related over to our Media Academy team, who then helps. Like our copywriter Timmy is written for all the best copywriting groups out there. He's amazing. He's on board. Our ops person Rachel, who's helped us with launches and stuff. Like I've done a lot of successful launches. I have the best people in launch there. You'll see Kaya Van Zant, who's done a lot of our blogging and our content writing and talking how to do narrative. I personally work with Craig Clemens, who's one of the legends in copywriting in the industry, and that's where our supplement line is going. And so he coaches me personally in how that works. So we have access to the best of the best. My team has worked here for years. My team knows the score, and then my team also knows that if anything is above their heads to like kind of bring it to me, and then I'll go to my experts who are domain experts in everything and bring that information back or bring them on as in an interview and be like, hey, listen, this thing right here, like this is very specialized. I want you to come in for a Media Academy interview and let me ask you and let me make it an open dialogue with some of our audience, right? And so I have access to anyone I want in our space. And so it kind of, what it does is it also opens up my Rolodex to our students.
Yep. Mary asks, I'm a stakeholder. She's driving. Would I have time to sign up? Yeah, probably the second you get to a computer.
Yeah. You have time till the weekend.
Yeah.
So stakeholders have time till the weekend, so don't crash.
Steve asked, should one do the Urban Monk Academy first?
I would do them in parallel flight. It's, the Urban Monk Academy is like a 45-minute audio once a week that helps you kind of think about your life. And the Media Academy has a number of videos, some long, some short, in every module as you go. And what I would do is kind of get the basics of the Urban Monk Academy so that you're clear on where you want to go, and maybe even like do the Urban Monk Academy through the end of the year and just get really clear on the focus that you want to have as you jump in. Do your onboarding call with Sean and team. Really get clear. Get into your accountability group. And so we're going to wait a week or two. It's like I got a bunch of people in Australia and New Zealand. It takes a while to ship these books, right? So I'll sign the books, I'll send them. We'll spend a couple weeks like letting everyone land and get kind of familiar with where all these things are, where all the assets are, and then we'll set a start date for the book, and we'll set a start date for when we're going to do some of these live calls. But everyone's got so many competing timelines and deadlines that we've made it super flexible so that you just you come in where you need to, you get what you need, you come in and out. And I understand that times get busy and the holidays are happening, but part of one of the things that really gets this semester to fill up really quickly too, though, is because people register they get the tax savings. So it's like you're paying the money to Uncle Sam if you live in America anyways. So you get the tax write-off this year, and then it prepares you to make next year your best year ever, right? And so we have a few weeks to just kind of catch our breath, learn where we want to go, measure thrice, cut once, and then just jump in and really just get focused in on what we need to do to get the success in our business and get money coming back in. My goal for every single one of you, especially if you're like financing, is within that 6-month kind of deferment period to have made way more than what you put into this thing, so that you easily pay it off, move on, and are like just charging, right? Our goal isn't to be like, oh my God, there's a $2,000 extra. The $2,000 should be so negligible to your life and your business because your business is scaling and doing well. And so like it's very little money, right, in in the realm of business. And so what we'd use it for, it's like, okay, you get all this, you get all the curriculum, you get all the content, you get all the good stuff that we've built into it. You get the community, you get the support, you get the coaching, you get all that built into it. And we use that as really like rocket fuel to then send you into orbit and help you immediately start making more money in your business. And then that money helps you hire more staff, get more product, build out your web, all that stuff, right? And so for us, our first goal is to help you start making money, like immediately, like where do you make money now? How can we get you to make more money so that you have more bandwidth? It's the same thing I do with time in this book. Is like, you're already broke for time, so let me help you find time in your life, and then let's reinvest that time into a better life for you. So same thing for your business. It's like, let's help you find the money that's just kind of the low-hanging fruit, so that then you could kind of breathe easier and then use that money to keep growing and get your business going.
Shayla asks, how long does the code last?
Until we're full, and I can't guarantee when that fills up. So, it'll probably fill up by the weekend. That's when stakeholders can sign up by the weekend. And like I said, we only have 200 seats. We take this real seriously, right? Like I can't take any more volume than that, right? I have 27 people on staff here. We have the coaches set up. Each coach has 10 to 12 people maximum in their groups. And so we're just very clear on what we can do as a company and continue to deliver quality and value. And so I won't get over my skis. Maybe next year the class size will be bigger. But the 200, it starts to fill up. When, I don't know, right? We'll see how quickly the seats start filling up right now, but like they start to fill up.
Yep. And just for the people asking to repeat, the code is 1798, correct? Let's see. Will there be a similar opportunity next year as I'm not ready now? Not same pricing, I believe.
Yeah, the pricing tends to go up. The pricing has gone up by $1,000 already. And our thing is, like, our costs keep going up, and everything just gets more expensive, and we have more staff, and we offer a lot more like support. So I can't guarantee it'll be the same price, but yeah, we have a new class that opens every semester. If you can't afford it right now, look at financing, and if you can't afford that, then don't get yourself stressed out. Like, don't do it, right? Like, that's not, you need to make decisions that are life affirming. And so, like, I'm never going to ask someone to like spend money they don't have, because that's not right? So just do it if you see that you need it and that you can comfortably raise like the money or come up with the finance, which is like $100 a month or something to pay for it. Then you use that to really put yourself into this mindset that you need to start making more money, and then that's when magic starts happening. But if even that is too much, then don't do it.
Great. Let's see. How long does the media course last?
It's 12 weeks, 12 modules that are the core curriculum, and that's when like you'll have your accountability circle, and you'll have the modules drip on a weekly basis so that we don't overwhelm you. But then you have lifetime access. So not only do you have everything that you've previously seen, we're doing new videos every week at this point, and we're adding a lot more content and value and volume over time. And you still have the Facebook community. You still have access to my team. If you get stuck anywhere, you just come in, and my team will come in and help. And if we see those questions come up 2 years from now, we have this a lot. Like, stuff will come up from someone who graduated a long time ago. They'll be like, hey, what about this? And then the guys will run in the studio and do a video about it, right? Like, we got you. It's just a question of, like bandwidth. So, we are constantly creating more. And so if 20 people are like, hey, what about this thing? That's our next video.
What's a stakeholder?
Stakeholders are people that went through our prosperity launch and chose to become a stakeholder member of our group, which helped us kind of like, so what they did is they bought the roadmap course, and continued on to, the continuing education of what that roadmap course was. That pricing was different like during the event. Now the pricing's gone up, so there's kind of parity, but they have like a discount that you guys won't be able to get because they were in then. I think trying to think. If you go into the prosperity film and you elect to become a stakeholder, it costs more money now. You'll get access to a deeper discount, but then you don't get the like plus membership and all the bonuses that come with that, which is all the DVDs, the workbook, and all these other wonderful things. I didn't even tell what that was, actually. I should have. So it's all the interviews on DVD, then a Blu-ray of the film, a DVD of the film, and then a big workbook that has not only just like the summaries of all the interviews and key points and takeaways, it also has transcripts and then a ton of resources. So there's a lot of value. You get a big box of stuff that also comes for people who sign up this way. Or you can go find all that, become a prosperity stakeholder, and then redeem that, and it comes out. I think it's within a couple $100, but then you don't get all the stuff.
Yep. Melissa says, sorry, my idea for a business is in the service industry. It's so off the charts. I don't know who to discuss it with if it's doable in a manner. So let's see. I don't want to run around telling my idea to everyone. Does this make any sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. The challenge is, if we were to do that, there's so many, Melissa, there's so many people that come to us with those types of things that are like, listen, let me pitch you my idea and see if it's good. I'm happy to do that and kind of like have Sean kind of hear that out. It just gets a little cumbersome for us because what happens is we fill up all the seats and then that happens. But, one, your instincts are correct. Don't go just talking about your ideas in front of a million people because, a lot of people have good execution and little creativity. It sounds like you have great creativity and you're wondering if you can execute on it. And then, an idea, there are a lot of good books that we recommend on how to take an idea and kind of hatch that egg. I don't know the idea, so I can't really answer it beyond that, but I would say you can maybe email Sean at well.org and he could kind of walk you through it. And if he thinks that this is a good fit for this program, then cool.
Yep. I'm a stakeholder. How much is the discount?
You can see it in your email. Mm-hmm. So check your email because that's already in there. So you could also go to your member site, which is, I'll send this to you.
Prosperity.well.org.
/the roadmap. Here,
yeah.
Let me send that to Sean. Where's Sean? Yeah, so roadmap members get $1,500 off the top line retail, but then it comes out almost the same. But if you want to become a roadmap member, either way you become a roadmap member. You could go the other way, but then you don't get the stuff. So you could look at that. I'm happy either way.
Yeah. So what's the hourly, weekly commitment that is usually expected of students?
Look, you want to spend 2 to 3 hours a week if you can, right? Everyone can find an hour to 2 hours. It's important to kind of get on and really get focused on it. And what I would do is even do it in like 30-minute chunks. Be like, okay, you know what? Tuesday morning from 10:30 to 11, I'm going to do this. And so just, and I'll work with you guys on how there's actually a ton of videos we've done on how to like calendar better to get clear on that. And maybe it's like, I'm a teacher, I work till 3:30, and then it's like, okay, so then just, go get in the library for another 45 minutes before you go home kind of thing, right? And do that a couple days a week. So it's not that much, but it's about really learning how to think about what you need to do. I mean, there's a ton in there, but you don't need to do it all. And that's what I want to emphasize is I don't want you drinking out of a fire hose, because this is one of the things that happens with a lot of people is, there's just too much to do, so I get into analysis paralysis, right? I don't want you there. That's why Sean does the onboarding call. That's why my team is with you, because it's like, okay, where you're at, this is your next step, and when you're done with this next step, this is your next step, right? Or maybe you can do these 3 things in unison because you're waiting for this thing to deliver, but let's just stay here and then here and here once we understand where you want to go, right? And so, 2 to 3 hours, and I have people that'll go, 5-10 hours a week and just plow through this thing. Great. If you have more time to commit, the sooner you'll be like a genius at this stuff, the sooner you'll do well. And a lot of our businesses, they're crushing it. They're doing really well with what we've taught them.
Yep. Barbara asks, can you recommend a good book on building your business online right now?
There's a few. I think that I like Scaling Up by Vern Harnish. It's just not even like online, but it's a really good book to understand how to like scale. I think that Eric Rice, The Lean Startup, is a really important book for everyone to read, REIS, because it'll help you understand agile framework to understand how to go from there. There's a book called Platform, which is okay. There's not a great book for online. Like, that's the thing. A lot of this stuff is like, you read this book, then it like kind of funnels into like, now buy my thing, right? And their thing is their thing, but it's very siloed and it's not. There's a lot of stuff out there. A lot of people have done this stuff. And so for us, we've kind of stayed diet agnostic, if you will. A lot of these books come with like kind of tribes and leadership that kind of like, we recommend a lot of books, but none of them that I'd be like, that's the book to read. And that's the problem with the industry, right? And the problem also is the ground moves under our feet every minute. So as soon as you publish a book, it's already antiquated.
Yep. Gene said, I tried to sign up as a stakeholder during the event. What is possible now? I guess just email me and we'll see if you tried to
email Sean.
Yeah. Sean, SCAN at wild.org. Let's see. What's the best way to find business partners so I'm not doing this alone?
The first question I would ask is, do you need a business partner? Because a lot of people feel like they need business partners because they feel overwhelmed by all this. Business partners bring a lot of complexity and nuance in relationship and drama. So the first question is, what would you need a business partner for? What is it that you want to do? What is it that they would be doing? What is it that they would be bringing? Because it becomes a really sticky, codependent relationship if one is not careful. I've been in a lot of partnerships, and they're very difficult to navigate. I'm very good at it now because I'm very good at understanding how to like nuance the conversation and kind of, you stay here, this is my lane, this is yours. But if it's something that you could and should hire and not partner with, I think it's the better move. And so really, then the question becomes, what does a business partner bring that you don't have or can't bring? So it's either a capital partner, if you don't have the money to match what your idea is, and so they become the money, you become the work and the sweat, or they have a very specific domain expertise, and then you are very clear on what that would be. Like, I had a guy when I first started business, he talked a big game. He was this SEO guy. He threw a lot of words at me that I didn't understand, so I figured he knew more than I did, and I gave him like equity in my company and all this stuff. And he was just a monkey. Like, he just sat on his ass and he didn't work. He had terrible work ethic, and he just wanted something for nothing, and it became a really sticky thing because now I got this guy has equity for being a partner, but then he wants to hire people to do the thing that we gave him equity for. And so because I made bad kind of deal decisions, I didn't know how to like strike the deals right. It became a very tenuous situation. And so I want to question the motive for it, for you, and just get really clear on what that partner would bring and why. And then it'll be clear who that partner should be, or then who you should pursue.
Yep. Let's see. How often do semesters come along?
We were doing them 3 a year. I was trying to do them quarterly, but it's just we have too much going on. And next year I'm on like a book tour in Europe. So this one will run through February, and then we might start another one in March or April. We're not sure yet. And so it's a little based on my availability, which makes it tough.
Are the modules set up like a step-by-step platform?
Yeah, it's pretty intuitive. We have video, we have audio and transcripts, but they're all based on exactly the subject matter at hand. So it's like, you go into it and it's like, here's the basics. Like, here's how you create here's how you do a WordPress website. Here's how you would get your Shopify going. Here's how you integrate your CRM. So it's all based on it's all topical. And so that's where the so there is no step-by-step for everyone, and that's why we do the onboarding is you talk to Sean or someone on the team, they figure out what your steps would be, and then they kind of give you the direction and curriculum to take so that you then take the right steps for you, because it's like, it's an encyclopedia, you can learn anything. So it's like, okay, what do I need to know to get here, right? And so then we create a step-by-step curriculum based on everything that's in there on your needs.
Yep. Let's see. The lifetime access, we could be in future live classes. How does that work?
Yeah. So once you're a member, you're a member. And so like all Media Academy members will get a thing that says, that basically will get an alert that says, hey, listen, we have a live call coming on, join. So once you're in, we treat you like family. So, the curriculum as it grows will keep growing for you. Like you won't have like an accountability coach past those 12, because we got to keep paying money for all that, right? But you can, stay in and get all the curriculum as you go. And if you want to stay with an accountability coach, you could, pay them to stay on with them. But so like the modules end after the 12 weeks, your lifetime access is there. You still have, the community, and you still have alerts when new content comes in, and that's for a lifetime. For a lifetime as long as we're around, and we plan on being here for a long time.
Yep. Let's see. Can you give examples / names of businesses that you've helped? I can answer this one. You can actually just go scroll down to essentially, I think near the bottom, we have a lot of businesses that were able to give us testimonials. So you can go there, visit their websites, and check them out and see, what they're doing.
Yeah, and I think they only fit like 4 on the page, but there's a lot more. So if you need more, then Sean could get you more.
Exactly.
Yep. He works with them a lot.
Yep. Where does the discount code get entered in the checkout process?
Go to add to cart, and then it says, there's a little button that says, do you have a promo code? You click that, and then you put that in there, and then it should calculate it for you.
Yep. A few people who missed it before, will there be a recording as I just got on?
Yeah, we'll once we're done, it takes a while to like render and stuff, but then it will we'll share the replay once we have it.
Let me see. Let me just search through to see if I've missed anything. I feel like this is like filling up really fast.
Yeah, do your thing.
Practically speaking, when would the group meet?
That all depends. So, we're going to, once we have all the registrants, then we're going to break them into groups based on, I think, affinity. So we're going to look at like what everyone's businesses are and try to match them for people that can be synergistic and help, and then match them with the coach that'll help kind of create a meeting time. And so that's all to be determined, right? That's all. We got people in New Zealand, Australia, everywhere. So we'll work with the schedules to make sure that it's a time you could be on.
Yeah. And Jessica asks, will the special pricing offer be available after midnight tonight? And that's yes, and until it's
until this semester. What we decided to do was give that pricing for this semester coming off this movie launch, just to give you guys a pricing break. So it's just a question of whether the seats fill up.
Yep. How many people on average do each enrollment?
Well, we usually fill up, so 200.
Let's see, not sure how.
And we've scaled up from there. Like it used to be 100. It was started with 50, and then we got it up to 100, 150. Now we're up to 2. So we now have more bandwidth, and we have more coaches, and we feel more comfortable being able to see that many people.
Yep. Let's see. This is a really long message. Weaving cultural. I think that's Franny is your real name. Let me see. Let me get to the gist of it. I would love to share my vision with Pedram or someone else in World.org to get feedback on whether it's something that will work. Let's see. I've been trying to. Okay, so, you could always email me, Sean, at World.org, and I'll see if you're a good fit as a candidate. But, yeah.
Yeah. Talk to Sean. My time is incredibly tight. I put a lot of time into our students. So if you're in the family, I'm here. I will put in the weekly calls. I take it, like I'm sitting here until the questions and all that. And I spend a lot of time there, but like front facing outside, it's very hard for me to get on the phone with anybody just because of all the time. Like I make movies and I'm out, right? So Sean will help qualify. And if it is for you, then you're in. Then on the weekly calls, you got me.
Yep. Shayla asks, Pedram, I'm having this nervous feeling connected with the time pressure connected with the code, worrying that I will invest this money one more time in something that may not work for me. I am highly motivated. Can you say anything to me, if anything?
Yeah, look, this is, this is part of the whole thing with like the marketing out there, right, is I'm not saying like the code's expiring, but I'm saying the class could fill up, right? And it's just the reality of it. So, your choice here is to kind of feel in your heart and be like, look, is this something I need? Yes or no? Do I trust these people? Yes or no? Is this something I'm willing to work for? Yes or no? And then, what have I done in the past that I regret, and why do I regret it? Right? Because there's a lot of people that sell crap out there. I didn't get into this to make like online education. I got into online education because I was so pissed off at the crap that I ended up buying for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, where it's like, the sales pitch is really good. Then you get in and you're like, come on. This isn't good, right? And so we decided to go highest bar on top of all that and create a curriculum that's good. Now, that being said, look, you have to get comfortable with your decisions and feel, kind of get through that dissonance. And then what we did is we put on a 30-day money-back guarantee. Like, look, if this isn't for you, bye. Yeah, it's cool, right? Like, our whole thing is we're not interested in having unhappy people, and we're not interested in helping people who aren't willing to get up and like help themselves, right? So it's almost like a two-way street. Is like we're busy working, like, if you've seen our last movie, we're busy working to make the world a better place. And if you're working to make the world a better place, we want to help you do it. And we don't have time to like sell crap to people who don't need it, because then that creates, think about the business model there. That's where a lot of we have like such a low refund rate. It's like unheard of, because when people get in there, they're like, oh wow, shit, this is good, right? And what happens with these crap companies is they end up doing all this stuff because they sell real well, but then they don't actually deliver on what they promise, right? And so their whole business model is about trying to like recoup and all that. That's not us. We're blazing ahead. We make really good content. We take care of our people. If you're one of our people, we take care of you, and you're in for life, right? And if you get in 30 days and you don't feel that, you're out. We'll get you your money back. Like it's I don't want this to feel like pressure. Like, there are limited seats, right? But I'm not trying to be like, buy now or you're dead, right? There are limited seats. If it feels like it's for you, then take a seat.
Lisa says, will I have all the tools necessary in the Media Academy with the support to start and run my business, or will it take me to a certain point and then I'll have to purchase a more expensive products from you to really take it to the next level?
That's a good question. It's a great question. No, this is it. We don't have any more expensive products. Like, we have a whole thing with another company called our Movie Maker Academy for people who want to make films, different business, different thing. This will help a small to medium-sized business scale and get to where it needs to be and understand how to do online media. And if you've outgrown us, it means that we need to keep up with you and keep scaling up from there. Right? So no, there isn't like some 10K, 25K mastermind. Like, thank you for asking that, because there's so much of this douchebaggery out there in the market. This isn't the squeeze to the next level. Like, these are our top line education programs, and this is where we serve, and this is where we just continue to serve.
Yep. Bob asked, you mentioned having a staff member call to discuss our particular project. How does that happen?
Yeah, so once you are enrolled, you get an onboarding call, and then you schedule that onboarding call. There's a questionnaire to fill out first, because what we want to do is look at what you got, where you say you're headed, just like, okay, where's your website? What do you want to do? What do you sell? And all that. So like my team can look at that, kind of get a sense of what you're doing first, and then call you and be like, okay, so, based on these priorities and where you say you want to go and what I'm looking at, let's have a conversation. And then based on that conversation, you come up with a plan together.
Where is the financing option?
So if you go to the add to cart page, there's a little link that says if you're interested in financing, click it. And it was going to an automated financing thing, but something broke. So now what's happening is you click that, it sends your information to our director of financing here, who then will walk you through the application. It's just basically like, applying for financing, and then it connects. So it's just going to be like talk to a person and make it happen. And it's a quick process. And so he's already been running a bunch of them since the call ended. So there are, it's working, right? So it's pretty quick, and it's pretty effective.
As a health coach and wellness instructor, I've always worked with people one-on-one or in a classroom environment. How can I still do that online with a website and how would one service a multitude of inquiries?
Well, I mean, technically, if you think about what I do in the Urban Monk Academy, I'm a health coach, right? But I have, in a private group, like 13,000 people. I have several thousand, I haven't even checked the latest number, several thousand members that have paid like $300 that then, are evangelists for our message. And so like, instead of seeing people 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, I produce content, write books and do kind of top line stuff. And then I come into this studio, which is 30 feet away from my office, right? Like up there, and I could be wearing like shorts and flip-flops underneath this and, just do a conversation with the group once a week. And then I have a separate mastermind. They pay, I think, like $20 a month, which is for Qigong, and we teach them Qigong. And they're just happy, loyal, enthusiastic students that are getting a tremendous amount of value for much less than what people would pay for my private time. And I have more time and more money because of it. So absolutely what you need to do is scale. Like as a doctor, I was making, I don't know, 500 an hour up to maybe about 1,000 an hour once I was kind of like really kind of in step. But that was like, a lot of money, but it was still max. Like I was exhausted at the end of the day, and it was like slamming me. And I got to the point where I realized, if I just make this thing that I keep repeating, if I just turn this into a video, then I could just, give this to my patients, and then I have less talking to do. And it just kind of trained me to just realize how much of what I did was automated and how much of I did what like needed to be like one-on-one, right? And it helped me scale what I really needed to be doing.
Yep. Scrolling.
Yeah, sorry, Sean's digging in a big chat thread.
Yeah. JPS, what is the financing offer details? Again, you might have possibly already answered this, but I missed it.
It should be on that page. Where the heck is it? I think it's 24 months. We worked really hard with the financing company to like come up with a deal that was awesome for you guys. Like we're not a bank, so we had to work with a financing company, but it's if you pay it off within 6 months, it's zero interest, same as cash. And then the effective APR, if you can't roll through and you can't pay it all off, of the remaining balance, it's basically like 13 something percent until it's paid off over 2 years. And so it came out to like $100 a month less, right? And then if you then get in and you make your money, and which you should be doing within 6 months, and you could pay off $2,000, then you're done, right? And that's why we wanted it, is because in 6 months most of our students are making money, right? Like it doesn't take long to kind of turn on the engine, even if you're at zero. So 6 months is a long time, and so that's why we wanted it that way, is to really give you guys that runway to be able to just finance it and be able to grow your business and scale it with 0% interest if you could do it within 6 months.
Yep. Let's see.
Let me look that up. I know it's somewhere. I don't know. I had this conversation with them a while ago because I really needed it to work for everybody. While you're looking, here it is. 24 months, 6 months deferred interest, effective APR 13.25.
Great. Let's see. Our chat has refreshed itself.
Uh-oh.
So let me see if I can see the entire thing and see if I missed some.
Okay. So how about any fresh questions? Oh, and the financing is U.S. only, unfortunately. Like there's no bank we don't have like an international bank that can finance. Yep. So Bill's just sending me stuff as people are like kind of coming up with questions.
Liana asked, any suggestions on good or honest website creating sites, programs, or whatever? I use email with my local phone internet co-op company.
I'm sorry, I missed the front end of that question.
Any suggestions on good or honest website creating sites?
It depends on what you want, right? It depends on what you need. I think, certain people can just do a Shopify site and be okay. I like WordPress. We teach a lot of WordPress because WordPress gives you the most scale. And WordPress is really capable of delivering a very robust website. You just got to load up a theme and go. It's a little bit more work, but if you want to, like, then there's Squarespace, there's Weebly. We go through the pros and cons of all of them, and all of them have pros and cons. There's no like conscious one out there where it's like, oh, these are the good guys. It's just, these are, they're all just software apps that deliver in different ways.
Yep. What is the best way to do all of the business, as you mentioned, on a shoestring budget? When lack of money is a problem, was the best thing to start with?
Best thing to start with is very small iterative process, which is, okay, first thing in front of me, here's this book, right? This book costs $21.99. Let's say, I can buy it for half off from the publisher or something. I don't even know because I just sell them through Amazon. But example, right, is this book, let's say it's $22 retail. I could buy it for, I'll buy it for $10. I sell it for $20. Let's keep it simple, right? So then I know that I have a $10 margin on this thing and I have 200 of them in the back or something. Then I have to figure out what the cost per lead is on Facebook or YouTube or Google to get someone to see this book and understand that this book is for them and buy this book. So if I can get that lead and get that acquisition for, say, $4, then I know that I've advertised for $4 to get a $20 sale, $6 of which is profit, right? And so then I can go, okay, good, I could scale this a little bit more. Maybe tomorrow I'll spend $20. Maybe tomorrow, the day after, I'll spend $40. So you can really scale in a slow way on Facebook and YouTube online. You could chuck up a Shopify store, throw something in there and go. Amazon's just shifted their affiliate program and looks like they're discontinuing it in some ways. So, you could also get an Amazon store, right? And put something up on Amazon and then figure out ways to drive traffic. You could write a blog in response to an article and see if that starts to drive traffic. And you could do free stuff, right? Like that is article driven, and then try to get readers to your article. And then as those readers start to monetize, then you understand who you're dealing with. And so really connecting the dots on what people are looking at in terms of reading and comprehension of what they're reading connected to, again, the stuff that we talked about early in the call, right? Which is, what's the problem? What's your solution, right? And how are you proving that you do it? So, let's say you have a product, let's say this book for stressed out moms, right? Is I then go onto some mommy blogger site and say, hey, listen, I just wrote this book. I want to do a guest blog for you about, how to, the 5 ways of like being less stressed out as a mom. Yeah, great. We're always looking for content. I write an article, and at the end of the article, I'm like, hey, listen, by the way, if you want this book, get it over here. It goes to my cart. Now, I didn't spend anything on that mommy blogger site, and I just got $10 of return. And then the goal is to keep doing stuff like that, and then scale that to ads, because there's only so much you can kind of kick it around with friends once you learn how to like get in front of the right audience. And so then I go to Facebook and I go, I want stressed out mothers. That's who I'm looking for, between age so-and-so and so-and-so, living in this area and this area. Here's my daily budget, $20, $50, right? And I made $200 over in my mommy blogger thing, so now I can afford to spend a little bit of money here, right? Start working your ads, start working your understanding of who is looking for this, how to put this in front of them, and once you have a winning formula, just be really tight on your money so that you are not blowing all your profits. Use your profits and reinvest in growth, and eventually those profits will pay for your growth and your life.
Yep. JPS, is the well.org prosperity site built on the WordPress platform?
Yes, it is. And we used to use Membarium, and now we have moved over to Wishlist Member because we had so many API calls that came through for the Urban Monk reboot that kind of kept breaking Membarium. So it's a WordPress site using Wishlist Member.
Yep. If I become a stakeholder first, then sign up for the Media Academy, will the cost for Media Academy be cheaper?
It will be. I think it'll be like maybe a couple $100 cheaper, but then you don't get the physical products. And then if you went back to get the physical products, you would actually have to buy them again. So it's just a question of whether or not you want the physical products. The best way to go about it, ideally, is to just buy. If you want the physical products, just do the $500 discount. And if you don't want the physical products, which is all the DVDs and stuff like that, you can save, I think, close to $200 by becoming a stakeholder. And Sean could give you the landing page there, and then going into your stakeholder benefits and then getting the code for Media Academy for stakeholders. So it's slightly different. But again, we like to reward our stakeholders for coming in and doing that, right? And so everything that we do on the front end is free, and we really lean in, and then we over deliver on our stuff. So it's like in the next year we are going to take such good care of stakeholders. Like that's our thing, that's our family, that's who our people are, right? And then our stakeholder, like any Media Academy person becomes a stakeholder, and so we just keep growing our tribe in a way where it's just like, wow, these guys really took care of me. That was cool. Thank you. Right. So if you don't want the physical stuff, you could go in and become a stakeholder, and you'll have. It might take like 20 minutes or something to like get all the emails and stuff, but then you could go in and plug in that code.
Yep. As somebody who recently became a stakeholder, will I have the opportunity to use the stakeholder code in a future semester?
Yes, the discount will remain the same. I don't know if the top line price will remain the same, but we'll have the discount. There'll always be a discount for stakeholders on the Media Academy. I just don't know where the top line, because the things have changed, right? Like now we have coaches working. Like our cost basis has gone up as we've layered on more value and more kind of customer support. So there'll always be a discount. I just don't know what that's going to be in relation to the price.
Marketing is the biggest problem for all online businesses. It takes a lot of hassle, and conversions are very small. How do you resolve this issue?
Get better conversions and get very tactical about your marketing. So, I mean, that's what we teach in the Media Academy, right? Like marketing is the thing. If you don't market, you don't have business. It's traffic. It's about getting people into your business. So for me, for the Prosperity film, our ads cost about $1.50 to get in. On the front end, and our lead value on the back end was about $2, so we made 50 cents on each. So net it did well, and so again, I'm going to dissect why that works and why we're able to scale that now and share the movie freely with the world, because enough people are like, yo, I like what these guys are doing. I want to be a stakeholder, and I want more of this content, right? So it's about setting up the back end economics to pay for the ads, and if I don't care if the ad, like for a lead cost. I mean, there's a lot of companies that do like, $5K like products. Their cost per lead is like $12, and they're happy to pay it because the margin is there. So it's more of a conversation of the unit economics and the fundamentals of your business, so that if your business is making enough money on what you're doing, then you can afford the marketing, right? If you can't afford the marketing, it's because you're not selling. There's some dots that are not connected, right? And that's the problem.
Yep. Let's see. Is there Art of Stopping Time audio version?
Yep. Audible, US and UK.
Yep. Let's see. Scrolling through. It might be coming to the end of the questions, actually, which is...
Okay, it's 3 o'clock here, timing. So any other questions, I'll take them. The class, there are seats that have been filling up, you guys, so if you are thinking about this, get on it. We're going to share the replay link, and I know a lot of people, missed it. There was, I can tell you right now, about 3,500 people registered for this thing. So, I just don't get mad at me if it's sold out, right? That's all I'm saying. And again, I'm not trying to be like pressure guy, but it will sell out. Think about it. If you need financing, apply for it. That takes, I don't know how long it takes actually, because it's the first time we've been doing it. And I know there's a lot of people that have been applying for that as well. So, and again, I'm here for any other question. Unless we've run out of questions, I'm here.
Let's see. This one is asking about our Facebook group. Is it public or private?
There's a private Facebook group for the Media Academy, and it's a good community that it's building, and we're going to be putting a lot of energy into it in 2018, and a lot of just handheld media, a lot of new things like, hey, let me show you how to do this. And so it's a private group, and it's designed specifically for students.
Yep. Let's see. I think that actually might be it.
Okay, last call. Hang for a minute.
Questions. Yep. We are on a bit of delay, so we'll hang for a little bit longer. I think we're on a minute delay, right, Lorenzo? Let's see. Lisa says, "What do you mean I won't have the physical stuff? What's the difference between the regular offer and the stakeholder offer?"
So let me pull it up just to be like super clear on it. I just like refreshed all my cookies because there's something messed up. So now all my pages that I like look at all the time are gone. Let me go find it. Here we go. So the stakeholder membership is $199 per year. And the Stakeholder Plus, you get all the benefits, plus you get all these extra modules on time management, efficiency, and all that. That's kind of part of the Urban Monk Gestalt anyways. But so the difference is you receive the entire roadmap course on DVD, a roadmap workbook, which is like 300 something pages of just like awesome content and like extra like summaries and all that, a DVD and Blu-ray of the movie, and some extra interviews. So if you want, like I said, like the DVDs and the physical stuff, then that's for you. If you don't care for that stuff, then become a stakeholder and then join the Media Academy.
Yep. Yeah, I think that might be it for right now.
Okay, last call.
If you have any other questions or anything like that, always email me at sean@well.org. That's SEAN@well.org. And I will answer anything you need.
Sean@well.org for any other questions. He'll jump on it. And thank you for being here. This is, for us, this is exciting. We do this once in a while, obviously. Like we have 3 classes that run a year. So this is for this upcoming class. And we're excited to have you, if it belongs in your world, and if we belong there and all that, then we're excited to have you join us. Either way, look, you're going to see free content coming every week from us. We do a lot of wonderful things here, and I'm over here. And then we're supportive of a much kind of bigger vision of the world that we are constantly like kind of rowing towards. And whether you're a Media Academy student, a roadmap member, or just someone who hasn't bought anything, we love you. Like we're here. We're all on this together. So if our online training is going to help you, then that's what you should do, right? And if it's not for you, then cool. We do all sorts of other things that are for free or whatever, and you're welcome to enjoy them. And that's just who we are. That's how we roll. So thanks for being here. And again, I'm going to be out of town the rest of this. I'm heading to New York for some media stuff. And so the following week when I'm back, I'm going to sign all these for all of our new members, and then we'll get them out in the mail. And then, we'll come up with a date to like start doing this together for a read along. I've never done anything like this. This is like 100 days of my time with people. So it's kind of a big deal. So we'll sign these and get those out as well when I'm back next week. All right. Thank you very much.